Be stronger than your excuses. Look at your hands. Right now, look at them, these hands. They have the power to build your dreams, or they have the power to build your cage. The materials are the same. The choice is always yours. There's a story I want to tell you. It's about a man named Leo, and maybe, just maybe, as we walk through his story, you'll see a little bit of your own reflection in it. Leo had a dream. It was a simple dream, really. He wanted to write a book, not for fame, not for fortune, but because he felt a story burning inside him, a story he believed could touch a few hearts, could make someone feel a little less alone. He could feel it, this untold tale, like a second heartbeat, a constant quiet rhythm beneath the noise of his everyday life. He worked a job that paid the bills but didn't feed his soul. He'd come home each evening, the mental fatigue clinging to him like a shadow, and the dream would whisper to him. Today, it would say, just a few hundred words. But then, another voice would speak. It was louder. It was more convincing. You're too tired, the voice would say. Look at the clock. It's already late. You need to rest. Your brain is fried. You can't create anything worthwhile in this state. And Leo would listen. He'd tell himself he deserved to unwind. He'd sink into the couch, remote in hand, and let the hours slip away into a stream of meaningless light and sound. The blank page on his laptop would remain blank, and the dream would sigh, growing a little quieter, a little fainter. Tomorrow, he'd promise. Tomorrow, I'll have more energy. Tomorrow, the words will flow. But tomorrow would come, and it was a perfect copy of today. The same fatigue, the same convincing voice, the same empty page. Weeks turned into months. Months began to bleed into a year. Leo bought a beautiful leather-bound journal. It sat on his desk, pristine and empty, a silent monument to his intention. He researched writing software. He joined online forums for aspiring authors. He did everything around the writing, except the actual writing. His excuses were masterpieces of logic. They were airtight. I need the right environment to be creative. I'm just gathering more life experience first. This idea needs more time to marinate. It's not the right season, maybe in the spring, when the days are longer. He had built a fortress of reasons, and he was the lonely king inside, ruling over a kingdom of unrealized potential. Then, one utterly ordinary Tuesday, something shifted. He was cleaning out a closet, lost in the mindless task, when he found a box from his childhood. Inside were old-school notebooks, faded baseball cards, and a stack of drawings. And at the bottom, a single sheet of paper, carefully folded. It was a story he had written when he was 10 years old. The handwriting was large and loopy, filled with grammatical errors. The story was about a space knight fighting a dragon made of stardust. It was silly. It was illogical. But as Leo read it, his throat tightened. He remembered the pure, unadulterated joy he felt writing it. He remembered sitting at the kitchen table, completely lost in the universe he was creating, not caring if it was good, not worried about who would read it. He wrote simply because it made him happy. And then, the crushing question landed in his heart with the weight of 1,000 regrets. What happened to that boy? When did he become so afraid? When did he start needing everything to be perfect before he even began? When did he trade that joy for the suffocating comfort of his excuses? The excuses hadn't protected him. They had imprisoned him. They were not shields. They were the bars of a cell he had built around his own spirit. He looked at the blank journal on his desk, and for the first time, he didn't see a symbol of his dream. He saw a symbol of his surrender. He saw the ghost of the boy he used to be, looking back at him, wondering what went wrong. That was the day Leo declared war. Not on the world, not on his circumstances, but on the voice inside his head. He made a decision that was almost terrifying in its simplicity. He would be stronger than his excuses. He didn't make a grand plan. He didn't wait for Monday. He didn't announce it to the world. That night, after work, he was tired. The voice was there, as always. You're too tired. Just relax. But this time Leo didn't argue with the voice. He didn't try to reason with it. He simply acknowledged it, and then he acted in spite of it. He walked to his desk. He opened the laptop. The blank screen stared back, a white void of judgment. His fingers felt like lead, but he placed them on the keys, and he typed one word, then another. The sentences were clumsy. The dialogue was stiff. It was, by any objective measure, not very good. But it was real. It was on the page. He did it for 15 minutes. Then he stopped. He had written a single, messy paragraph. It wasn't a chapter. It wasn't even a page. But it was a crack in the foundation of his fortress. It was a breach in the walls of his prison. The next day he did it again. The voice was still there. This is terrible. What's the point? You'll never finish. He felt the urge to delete it all. But he didn't. He let the terrible words sit there. He added a few more terrible words to them. He showed up the next day, and the next. Some days, the words flowed a little easier. Most days, it was a grind. It was a battle. He was not fighting for a best-selling novel. He was fighting for his own soul. He was fighting for the right to look himself in the mirror and know that he was someone who kept a promise to himself. He stopped waiting for motivation. He started building discipline. Discipline is what carries you when motivation has left the building. Discipline is the quiet, gritty determination to do the thing you said you would do, long after the mood you set it in has passed. The excuses didn't magically disappear, they evolved. You're busy today? Just skip it. You've been doing so well. You deserve a break. This part of the story is hard. Work on the easy part later. But now, Leo had a weapon. He had the memory of that 10-year-old boy's face, full of untainted joy. He had the memory of that crushing Tuesday, and he had the evidence, day after day, that he was capable of showing up. Months passed, the messy paragraphs became messy chapters. The story was taking shape. It was flawed, it was imperfect, but it was alive. And with every word, Leo felt a part of himself coming back to life. The weight of procrastination was being replaced by the momentum of progress. The fear of failure was being overshadowed by the pride of effort. He finished the first draft. It was a sprawling, uneven mess. But it was a complete mess, and a complete mess can be edited. A blank page cannot. The day Leo typed the end, he didn't celebrate with champagne. He sat in the quiet of his room, and he cried. He cried for the years he had lost. He cried for the boy he had forgotten. And he cried for the man he had finally, painstakingly, chosen to become. He had not just written a book, he had rewritten his own character.